No matter where you are, you should always, from time to time, look up. In the city, doing so rewards you with architecture, gargoyles, faded reliefs, old Masonic symbols carved by long-dead hands. Sometimes, it saves you from pigeon droppings. Gravity is predictable there. If something falls, you know why. But the wilderness is different. Out there, gravity feels optional. Deep in the Georgia pines, the trees rise straight and tall, so high they seem to knit together overhead. The canopy forms its own ceiling, a cathedral of green needles and filtered sun. You walk beneath it feeling small, but not threatened. Most dangers in the woods move at eye level or lower. Snakes in the brush, hogs in a thicket, bears nosing through scrub. People scan the ground. That's a good start, but it's not all they should do. The woods are quiet, but rarely silent. Cicadas rasp, wind moves through pine needles in long, dry whispers. Woodpeckers tap. Limbs creak and settle. Every sound has a reason. That day, one didn't. It wasn't loud, just a wet, dragging shift above me. A weight transferring. I stopped. The forest did not. That's what unsettled me the most. Nothing scattered. No warning chatter from birds. No crashing retreat of deer. Whatever made the sound belonged there, or had convinced the forest that it did. I stepped back in the shaft of sunlight and looked up. At first, I saw nothing. Just interlocked branches, high and tangled. The sun overhead forced me to squint. The glare flattened everything into shadow and silhouette. Then something adjusted. Not much. A subtle contraction, like a muscle beneath bark. It was large. Larger than I understood at first. Easily the mass of a grown man, maybe more. Suspended between three pine trunks by thick, root-like appendages that wrapped and fused into the bark. Its surface matched the trees almost perfectly. Cracked, dark, resinous, but with a faint sheen, like oil floating on water. It didn't just hang there. It was integrated. As my eyes adjusted, I saw its limbs. Not tentacles. Segmented muscular extensions, varying in length and thickness, ending in clusters of hooked structures that slightly resembled pine cones stripped of their scales. They were arranged inward, ready to close. There were no visible eyes. A branch creaked sharply somewhere to my right. I turned instinctively. A young black bear, not full grown, but close, was climbing, claws biting into bark. It hadn't seen me. It hadn't seen anything. The creature moved, not slowly, not wetly, not heavily. violently. One appendage uncoiled with impossible speed. The crack of splintering wood was sharp as a rifle shot. The bear didn't roar. It barely had time to register surprise. There was a blunt, compressive whoop, like someone punching a mattress, and the animal vanished upwards, reeled in with mechanical precision. For a fraction of a second, the forest still held its normal sounds. Then everything stopped. The silence wasn't absence, it was pressure. The cicadas cut off mid-rattle. Wind that had been moving lazily through pine needles simply ceased. Even the air felt weighted, as if something enormous had inhaled and was waiting to see what else might move. The appendage contracted, folding in joint by joint. The creature's central mass was open along a vertical seam I hadn't seen before. Not a mouth, but a seam. A biological zipper parting under eternal tension. The bear's shape pressed against a translucent membrane, stretched tight as a drum skin. I could see the outline of its foreleg, the curve of its skull. A paw flexed once against the surface. Then the membrane pulsed. The outline blurred. The limb twitched once more, and then simply was gone. The seam sealed without a sound. Above me, something thick shifted its weight. That's when I realized the true size of it. It wasn't hanging from one tree. It was anchored across several. 3 trunks bore its mass. The bark around its contact points looked darkened, almost melted, fused by resin and pressure. It was not visiting the canopy. It belonged to it. One appendage loosened lightly and rewrapped, distributing weight. Another extended a few inches. Testing. I hadn't moved, but my heart had. The forest is made of wood, and wood carries vibration. A small shower of pine needles rained down near my boots. Not enough to alarm, enough to measure. It knew exactly where I was. I understood then that the bear had not been ambushed by chance. It had been selected, chosen for mass, for caloric value, for efficiency. And now the system was recalculating. I forced myself to breathe slowly through my nose. The air smelled of warm pitch and something metallic beneath it. Copper, sap, heat. I shifted my weight slowly, distributing it across the outer edge of my boot so the movement wouldn't register as a single impact. Heel to toe would have been too distinct, too rhythmic. Another branch creaked directly above me. The appendage that had taken the bear hung loose now, slack and pendulous. The hooked crown at its end flexed slightly, opening and closing without urgency. Not hungry, but evaluating. A drop of something viscous fell and struck a pine needle near my shoulder. It clung there, trembling. Clear but with faint iridescence, like oil on water. Digestive runoff. The forest still held its breath. I considered running, but running would mean cadence. Cadence would mean predictable ground strikes, a rhythm the bark above could read like Braille. Instead, I stepped backward 1 inch at a time, rolling the sole, avoiding twigs, avoiding loose bark, warding any sudden displacement of air. The appendage followed, not lunging, tracking. It adjusted incrementally as I moved, staying directly overhead. There were no eyes, but there was no doubt. It perceived me in 3 dimensions, the way roots sense water, the way spiders read a web. I realized something else then. It had not attacked immediately because I was beneath dense canopy. Too much branch interference. Too many obstacles between it and clean extraction. I needed open sky. Another slow step. Another. The trees thinned slightly ahead, sunlight widening into a pale oval. Behind me, something tightened. A soft internal contraction. Not loud, just enough to signal readiness. It had decided. I did the only reckless thing available. I stopped moving, completely. Even my breath. Seconds stretched. Pine needles above ticked softly in the residual breeze. My heartbeat thundered in my ears, and I wondered if that alone was enough to betray me. The appendage lowered 6 inches. Hooks opened, waiting for confirmation, waiting for motion. A drop of sweat rolled from my temple and struck the ground. The branch above gave a sharp, reflexive twitch. I stepped backward into the clearing. Sunlight flooded over me. The canopy opened just enough that geometry changed. Angles too wide for a clean drop, too exposed for a silent reel in. The appendage paused at the edge of the shadow and stopped. For a long moment, nothing moved. Then slowly, deliberately, it retracted. The hooks closed. The limb withdrew into the mass of bark-colored muscle overhead. The cicadas resumed. Wind exhaled through the needles. The forest pretended nothing had happened. I backed away until the trees were behind me entirely. Only then did I look up one last time. From the clearing, it was just a shadowed irregularity among branches. Storm damage, maybe. Deadfall caught high. Harmless. But one segment shifted slightly, rebalancing. Always look up, because sometimes the only reason you're still alive is that something above you decided you weren't worth the trouble. The cicadas resumed, as if someone had flipped a switch. The woods sounded normal again. But normal is a lie. Since that day, I look up often. In cities, in parking lots, in churchyards. Especially anywhere trees gather close enough to braid their limbs together. Most of the time, there's nothing there. Most of the time. But sometimes, high in the tightly knit clump of trees, you might see a patch of bark that glistens just a little too much in the sun.